Okay, so I'm going to present my screen and pull up the document camera. We're going to start out on our document camera today. Okay, so today is Tuesday, so this is the morning work that you need to be working on sometime today. It needs to be done before tomorrow morning because we will go over it tomorrow morning. It's the one labeled 11-17-20, and it has the I don't need any extra comments. We have we don't need any extra comments. If you have something you need to say, mention it in the chat. We'll address it later, please. It's the one with the congruent line. Now, I know some people have lost theirs or they were sent home for some reason because they weren't feeling well and they may not have gotten it. I'm already aware of that. You don't need to remind me that every time I talk about morning work. Okay? So, work on this one before tomorrow for us to go over, okay? Couple of housekeeping things. This Friday from 12 to 2 is a pickup day for work, okay? Because we are not 100% sure yet if we are coming back in person or not, or if we're going to be a hybrid schedule where we come in part of the days and part of the days are e-learning, or if we are completely e-learning. We don't know. I don't know any information on that yet, but Mrs. Ferson and I wanted to be prepared in case something like that would happen. So we are creating a packet that will be picked up on Friday from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That is everything you need up until Christmas break. Okay, so it's all the paper type stuff that you will need up until Christmas break because we will be doing Christmas around the world. And we have different crafts and things. We're going to be practicing cursive and some other things in that as well. So those are all going to be in a big packet. It's going to be a thick packet of stuff that you're going to see. That don't get overwhelmed. That's for 3 weeks worth of work that you will be receiving. Okay. So I sent a message already to parents that this Friday from 12 to 2, they can pick that up. So you may remind your parent of that as well, okay? And I will take questions about that at the end of our reading lesson, okay? So I'm going to review our vocab words about poetry that we talked about yesterday. We're going to be talking about idioms today. So we're going to be watching 2 Brain Pop videos. One's a poetry video and one is an idioms video. And then we will look at some poetry and then you will work. So vocab words, poem. A piece of literature that has a rhythm, often rhymes or repeats and expresses a feeling or idea. We have a verse, that's a line in a poem, similar to a sentence in a paragraph. We have a stanza, several verses grouped together in a poem, similar to a paragraph in a story. Rhythm, a beat, tempo, or pattern as in music. So example, AAA, ABA, ABC, ABCA. So we're going to be looking at rhythm and rhyme today as well. Rhyme, where 2 or more words have the same ending sound. Example, chime, rhyme, and time. You will be working with rhyming today. Repetition, using the same word, phrase, or sentence multiple times. This is used to get a point across. Metaphor we've already talked about last week and this week. A direct comparison of 2 objects, people, or things often uses is, was, are, or were. The example, he is a shining star. A simile we've already talked about as well. A comparison of 2 objects, people, or things using words like or as. Example, she shines like the sun. Alliteration we did yesterday. Repetition of the first sound or sounds in a group of words. Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. We saw the S sound multiple times in that example. We have hyperbole, which we talked about yesterday, which was an over-exaggeration. Example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. These we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Onomatopoeia, words that imitate sounds, also called sound words. So crunch, pop, bang. This one's the one we're focusing on today, an idiom. An old saying that does not mean what it says. Cat got your tongue. we're going to be focusing on this one today. Personification, giving human characteristics or abilities to non-human objects or things. The rain pounded on the window. We will be working with that one tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to pull up our poetry video really quick and our idiom video really quick. We're going to watch those and then we'll move on. I'm going to have to exit off. Someone needs to mute because I've heard lots of sounds in between. We're not taking extra comments right now. We're just waiting for things to go because this is being recorded. We don't need all those interruptions on our video for our friends that have to do makeup work later on, okay? So we'll save questions for the end, like I already said, please. So if it's something you need to remember, maybe you need to write it down real quick. Okay, we're going to start with this video right here.
I saw the robots of my generation destroyed by bad programming, beeping hysterical, wiring themselves in the garage at dawn, looking for an AC adapter, the absolute heart of the lithium-ion battery, guaranteed to run for 1,000 years. Dig it, brothers and sisters. Dear Tim and Moby, what can you tell me about poetry? From Gabriella. Chances are you're already pretty familiar with some forms of poetry. From the nursery rhymes you learned as a kid to the song lyrics you listen to now, your head is probably filled with poetry. Poetry is any writing that uses words for their sound and rhythm as well as their meaning. Ordinary writing, like you'd find in a textbook, newspaper article, or novel, is called prose. It expresses ideas in simple, direct language. Poetry, on the other hand, usually emphasizes artistic elements like rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. You can measure a poem's rhythm with something called meter. Meter takes into account how many syllables are in each line, what the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables is, stuff like that. For example, the English poet Alexander Pope wrote an iambic pentameter. That's a popular type of meter with 10 syllables per line, and with every unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. The rhythm of a poem in iambic pentameter goes ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. Relentless walls whose darksome round contains repentant sighs and voluntary pains, ye rugged rocks which holy knees have worn, ye grots and caverns shagged with horrid thorn. That's Alexander Pope.
Someone needs to mute their microphone.
Comes into play here.
Mute your microphone, please. Let's see who it is real quick. Okay. Now that I muted that friend, let's go back to our video.
You can see the first two lines start with a 3-syllable word beginning with the letter R, and the usage repeats at the start of the second two lines.
I saw you!
Right. I was just getting...
Go. You were muted!
Who is that friend that's doing that? Carter Townsend, if it continues, you are gone from our meeting. You're going to have to watch our video. Please, that's disrupting our video. Please don't do that, okay?
That
No one should be talking.
purpose.
Mute your microphone, please.
To rhyme. Rhyme is the repetition of similar sounds, usually at the end of lines of poetry. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green, their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. Not all poems rhyme, but ones that do usually have what's called a rhyme scheme, or...
I'm sorry, we keep having to interrupt our video. So I'm going to wait a minute for my friend to unmute again that keeps unmuting. Because I have friends today that can't be on e-learning with us live. They have to watch the videos, and they're not going to like that we're wasting our class time. So if it's you, just get off our meeting already. You can watch the video because you're disrupting our group, and that's not okay. Miss Allman knows exactly who it is, so the next time it happens, it may end up being a write-up because that's disrupting our learning time. And it will be mailed to you. That would not be fun. Now, I should not have to pause this video again.
Pattern. Let's take a look at that Pope poem again. Relentless walls, whose darksome round contains repentant sighs and voluntary pains. Ye rugged rocks, which holy knees have worn, ye grots and caverns shagged with horrid thorn. You can see the pattern. It's divided up into pairs of rhyming lines, or couplets. Mark each different rhyme with a letter, and you have the rhyme scheme. Not all poems have rhyme or meter, though. A lot of modern poets write in free verse, which has no set meter or rhyme scheme. The lines are simply broken up the way the poet sees fit. You are humped higher and higher, black as stone. You sit with your head like a carving in space, and the little green cat is a bug in the grass. That's a good question. People write poetry because it can express certain feelings and ideas better than prose. Poets often use their craft to make you think about an experience in a new and interesting way. It's sort of like painting a picture with language. Check out this piece by Emily Dickinson. It sifts from leaden sieves, it powders all the wood, it fills with alabaster wool the wrinkles of the road. Can you tell what she's talking about here? Right, snow. To make us see and feel the snowfall, Dickinson uses the poetic tool of metaphor. That's when you compare one thing to something else. In this poem, snow's not just frozen water, it's alabaster wool that sifts from leaden sieves. Sort of does make you shiver reading this. Poems can often seem difficult to understand when you first look at them. Often it's because poets like toying with the different meanings of words and phrases. So when you read a poem, make sure you read it thoroughly and carefully. And if possible, you should read it aloud to get a better feel for the sound and rhythm of the words. By paying close attention, you'll have a better chance of understanding what the poet is trying to say. You've got a poem? I think you misspelled thermonuclear here.
Okay, now I know that we have seen this video before, but this week, since we were talking about poetry, I thought we would re-watch it because it talked about rhythm and rhyme, which we're going to be focusing a little bit more on today. I'm going to move on to our next one. I really need you to pay attention to this one because it will help you with your assignment. This one is labeled idioms. This is a part or a figure of speech that you will be identifying today as well.
Hey, Moby. What's in the bag? Yikes. Dear Tim and Moby, what are idioms? Sincerely, Eric. An idiom is an expression whose meaning is completely different from what its words seem to say. Instead, it has a figurative meaning, an additional layer of understanding known only to those who are already familiar with the idiom. For example, to let the cat out of the bag is an idiom that really means to reveal a piece of information, often a secret. If you didn't know that figurative meaning, the words by themselves wouldn't make much sense at all. After all, who actually keeps cats in bags? And what do either have to do with secrets? All idioms share three common features. First, the intended meaning is totally unrelated to the literal meaning of the phrase. And you can't just substitute a word in the expression with a similar word. Like, you couldn't say, let the dog out of the bag and have it mean the same thing. Finally, you can't modify an idiom's words with adjectives and other words. You might get some funny looks if you say, let the yellow cat out of the large bag to mean tell a secret. Well, a lot of idioms have really cool origins. Take shake a leg, which is another way to say hurry up. Some people think it's related to the expression show a leg, used by officers in the 18th century British Royal Navy to order sailors out of bed. Each sailor had to stick his leg out of his bunk to prove that he was awake. Yeah, just about every idiom is specific to a certain culture or language. You probably know what shake a leg means if you speak English, and definitely if you're an 18th century British sailor. But outsiders can get pretty confused. Most idioms lose their meaning when translated into other languages. Still, idioms are a useful tool because they help make writing more colorful. Well, you tell me, which is more interesting to read? Worthington had a big problem, or Worthington had a monkey on his back? Yeah, I guess monkeys do make everything more interesting. Anyway, there are literally thousands of idioms out there. William Shakespeare himself coined more than 2,000 English idioms that we still use today. Well, a cliché is an idea or expression that's been overused to the point where it's boring and corny. Home sweet home and have a nice day are two clichés you've probably seen and heard a lot. Obviously, you want to avoid using clichés in anything you write. Problem is, it's not always easy to tell the difference between a cliché and an idiom because they're both well-used expressions. And actually, idioms can become clichés if they get overused. Well, you know how back in the 1990s everyone started saying, "Show me the money"? It was used in a famous movie, and it became an idiom meaning basically, give me what I really want. Within a couple years, it was completely played out. You'd see it on bumper stickers, in ads, in other movies, on TV. You couldn't get away from it. So now, it's a cliché. Well, the term cliché can apply to more than just words. Objects, situations, even personality traits can become clichés as long as they keep popping up. Moby? That bucket's only for kicking.
Okay, so today we're going to go back to our document here. We're going to look at some poems. This first one is a rhyming poem. I'm going to read it. We're going to be looking for a pattern in our rhyming, okay? It says, on my nature hike, lizard skitters on the path, muskrat takes a rustic bath. Beaver weaves a home of sticks, dragonfly does fancy tricks. Mallard glides among the reeds, chipmunk rustles in the weeds. Turtle moseys through the mud, whitetail nibbles on a bud. Eagles soar across the sky, warbler sings a lullaby. I'm as quiet as can be, only watching peacefully, okay? So let's look at our rhyming here. Let's find 2 lines in our poem that rhyme together, okay? I'm going to be calling on friends for this. So in the chat, if you would like to answer, let me know. Okay, Jaylee Smiley. What 2 lines rhyme in this poem?
Echo read. Okay, so I read the sentence. Lizard skitter on the path. Here we go. On the path. I jog to the.
Okay, what does that rhyme with? Path. Usually it's the last word. So what is another word in this poem that path rhymes with, Jaylee?
Bath.
Path and bath. So if we're looking at a rhyming scheme, this would be labeled A. Okay? Now, do we see any other words here that rhyme with path and bath? No. So when we look for our next set of rhyming words, that would be labeled B. Okay? So I need a new friend to help identify the next rhyming words. Axel, go ahead. Oops. Sorry, I got to pull it back up to the right thing.
and tricks.
Sticks and tricks. Thank you. This would be B. Aaron, help me with the next one. What is another one that rhymes? Aaron Froge?
I don't think any of them do.
You don't
Rhyme
see
with
any
tricks.
words at the end of each line that rhyme.
Oh, each line.
Yeah. It's always the end word. So which end words rhyme together?
None.
I got reeds, weeds, mud, bud, sky, lullaby, be peacefully.
None of those rhyme with tricks.
Okay, so you notice none rhymes with tricks, so find new words that rhyme together.
Reeds rhymes with weeds.
Good, thank you. Reeds and weeds, it doesn't rhyme with path, bath, sticks, tricks, so this is a new set of rhymes. This will be labeled C in our poem. Okay? Let's see, wrong thing. Let me exit off this. Aaron, go ahead, go to the bathroom. Carter Townsend, help me out. What's another one that rhymes? Carter T.
Mud and bud.
Thank you. And mud and bud don't rhyme with any others, so this would be labeled D in our poem. Sometimes when we see a poem, it ends up being like A, B, A, B. That means this line and this line rhyme, but this line and this line do not. But then you skip a line and those two rhyme. You'll see that as a pattern in poetry. You may see this. A, B, C, A, and it repeat like that to where these lines rhyme. It's not always boom, 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 boom like that, okay? And then our next one would be sky and lullaby. That we would label E. And B and carefully sort of rhyme, but I'm not going to mark it, okay? So you're going to be doing an activity today with rhyming that's going to look at patterns, and it's also going to have you come up with words that rhyme with other words, okay? Now we're going to look at our next one, which is idioms, okay? And someone needs to mute their microphone. An idiom is a saying that doesn't mean exactly what it says, okay? So I'm going to read this, then we're going to underline some things that don't mean exactly what it says. Wouldn't you be tickled pink with everything except the sink? But all that glitters isn't gold, so don't get left out in the cold. You can't have cake and eat it too, or bite off more than you can chew. It's easy come and easy go, so hold your tongue or you'll eat crow. Okay, so I'm going to start with tickled pink. You wouldn't be tickled pink. When this phrase here is saying, oh, help me out. My mind just went blank. Tickled pink. Super, yeah, that's like tickled pink means super excited and happy. No one's actually tickling you and you turn pink. Okay, so idioms are working on our phrases that don't exactly mean what it says. It means something else, okay? With everything except the sink, this here, except the sink is another idiom basically saying, wouldn't you be happy with absolutely everything? It's not saying you need your sink to be happy or anything like that. But all that glitters isn't gold. This is another idiom right here saying that not everything that is awesome is straight up gold. It can be found in other ways. So you don't get left out in the cold. Here's an example. If someone says they've been left out in the cold, what do they mean? It doesn't mean you're standing in the cold. Comment in the chat if you think you know what it means to be left out in the cold. Aiden Ash, go ahead. What does it mean to be left out in the cold?
Probably left alone.
Left alone? Are you wanting to be alone, or did someone maybe ditch you?
Someone ditched you.
Someone ditched you, yes. That's another idiom. You can't have cake and eat it too. What do you think that means? Comment in the chat. Carter Arp, what do you think? Carter Arp, I really don't need you to comment. Me. Okay? Just one me would be plenty, okay? What do you think it means to have you can't have cake and eat it too? Carter? Okay, maybe he's having some issues. Jaylee, what do you think you can't have cake and eat it too means?
That somebody says that you can't eat the cake with them.
Okay, that's a literal meaning. Usually what it means when you can't have cake and eat it too means that you can't have both good things. Like either you get the cake, but you can't eat it, or you have to eat something else is not necessarily what that means. It means more of a, you can't have the best of both worlds is what it's saying. So let me mark that. Okay. Bite off more than you can chew. What do you think that means, to bite off more than you can chew? Carter, are you working now better? Aaron, can you please back away from your camera? Thank you. Carter, do you have it figured out now, your volume or whatever was wrong? What does it mean to bite off more than you can chew? Is he trying to answer? I think, Carter, you might be having some issues, so I'm going to call in a new friend. Bella, what do you think it means to bite off more than you can chew?
I think it means to, take more than you can have.
Okay, take more than you can handle. You've taken way more than you can handle, and it's just overwhelming. Good job. It's easy come and easy go. That means basically that it's pretty easy. Things are coming and going pretty easy. That one's pretty simple. So hold your tongue or you'll eat a crow. That means you shouldn't talk because you may say something you'll regret. Okay? So idioms are a little hard. Someone needs to mute their microphone. Idioms are a little harder if you are not familiar with them. It's something you're going to have to think about, okay? So I'm going to pull up our It's Learning page here so you can look at some things with me. So we're currently in our whole group meeting. Today for reading, you have a list of things that you're going to be practicing and doing. First thing is sharks text evidence. You're going to read this about sharks. And then according to the article about how many attacks happen each year, you are answering in yes, ma'am format. You are not just answering the question. I need to pull up later on the example of some of the yes, ma'am responses we've gotten. It's not good. It's not pretty. Remember, you're doing restate the question, text evidence, and wrap it up. That's how you're writing these. It should end up being it should at least be 4 sentences in your response. So almost pretty much a paragraph that you're writing every time you do these. So if you're not doing that, you're not doing it correctly, okay? Then you have a rhyming practice here. It says list 3 words that rhyme with dog. So you're going to write 3 words that rhyme with dog. List 3 words that rhyme with sky. You're going to write 3 words that rhyme with sky. List 3 words that rhyme with top. You're going to do that as well. Then it says, write a sentence that rhymes with this. I just love being out in the sun. You're going to come up with a sentence that ends with a word that rhymes with sun. Then you have another one that says, write a sentence that rhymes with this. My favorite time of the year is when it snows. You're going to write a sentence where the ending of that sentence, that last word, rhymes with snows. And then write a 4-line poem where every other line rhymes. So that's an A-B pattern, okay? So it's not going to be the first 2 lines rhyme and then the next 2 lines rhyme. It's going to be the first line rhymes with the 3rd line and the 2nd line rhymes with the 4th line, okay? So you're going to be practicing that today. You have idioms. I will get this going. I believe it needs to be tree linked. So let me do that really quick. For idioms, I'm going to link this real quick and then we'll pull it up, okay? Reading idioms, add. Okay. So, idioms. I don't know why it's not posting. Okay, for idioms, what you need to do, pay attention, please. You're going to go to resources. You're going to click on reading. Scroll down. Here is your idioms assignment. Okay. You're going to open that up and it's going to have some ones that you are going to match. Here's the idiom. You're going to match the meaning with it as best as you can. And then write your own idiom and meaning. You're going to write your own. You're going to do it again. And then that's it. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And then you go back to course homepage. I will try to get that linked in the list. If it doesn't work, you need to click on reading on our side thing to find it. Okay, so you're going to work on that. Then you have a spelling practice with our words from yesterday. This time it's spaceships and words. And then you have a figurative language game. This one here is a game you're going to be identifying similes, metaphors, hyperbole, and personification. Personification, remember, is giving human-like qualities to non-human things. And you know what similes, metaphors, and hyperboles are. So that is what we're doing. And then at 10:30, we will have our math lesson. So you have about an hour and 15 minutes to work on those things, okay? Now is the time that I'm going to stop presenting and I'll take questions, okay? If you have a question, comment in the chat. If it's about the bathroom, don't bother us with that right now. Just wait till the end of our meeting and then you can go to the restroom, okay? So does anyone have any questions? Carter Earp, what's your question? We can't hear what you're saying, buddy. You may have to leave the meeting and get back on. I don't see any other people in the chat mentioning they have a question, so we're about to move on. Last call for questions. Please comment in the chat. Vadir, what's your question?
It's because my parents have work at 12 to 2. Since they start at 6 and if they end at 3:30.
Okay, then the office is typically open. There will be a packet for you in the office that they can come and stop by after work and get. Or if Monday or Tuesday works better for them, just have them message me and let me know, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Aiden.
So when we pick up the work, are we supposed to drop off work too?
No, not this time. You're just picking up a packet, okay? And it will have morning work and everything else. Axel, you have a question.
Yeah, since my mom comes from work at 2,
Mm-hmm.
does it before she goes at 2:06 or something?
Yeah, just have mom message me and let me know, and I'll make sure it's ready for her, okay?
Okay.
Carter, try again on your thing, but we couldn't hear you a second ago. Yeah, we still don't know what you're saying. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Okay, you're having issues, so you may just message me on It's Learning. Yeah, we don't know what you're saying, bud. Okay, that is the end of our video that we're going to record. You may get started on work, okay? I will see you at 10:30. Bye.